The aircraft carrier is a floating city, a self-contained world where sailors live, work and fight. The ship is home to thousands of sailors, all of whom have one goal in mind: to complete the mission and return home safely. But when more than 5,000 sailors live on an aircraft carrier, where do they sleep? How do they experience intimate moments with so many crew members on board the cramped bedrooms of thousands of U.S. Navy sailors aboard an aircraft carrier? May not seem like an exciting topic, but they are a testament to the dedication and sacrifice of men and women who serve our country. These sailors live in incredibly close quarters with bunk beds stacked on top of each other and hardly any room to move around. Despite being on a mission and busy enough to defend the country, the sailors will also need intimacy and privacy, but it's against Navy regulations for sail to engage in sexual activity while deployed on an aircraft carrier. The tight living quarters and lack of privacy make it nearly impossible to maintain the level of professionalism required for the safety and success of the ship's mission. Additionally, the risk of sexual misconduct and harassment are high in such a confined environment. That being said, it's not uncommon for sailors to form romantic relationships while on deployment. The stress and isolation of being at sea for months at a time can bring people closer together, and it's not uncommon for sailors to develop strong bonds with their shipmates. However, it's important to remember that the aircraft carrier is a military vessel, and the sailors on board are there to perform a job. The ship's mission is of the utmost importance, and any actions that could compromise the safety or success of that mission are strictly prohibited as the sailors go about their daily routines. The hum of activity is constant from the flight deck, where the fighter jets take off and land at a dizzying pace, to the engine room where the ship's massive engines are kept running. There's always something happening in the midst of all this activity. The sailors must maintain a high level of professionalism at all times. They must be ready to respond to any situation that may arise, whether it's a medical emergency or an attack from an enemy. But even in the midst of all this chaos, there's still room for love. Sailors are human beings, and they form relationships just like anyone else. And while the aircraft carrier may not be the most romantic of places, it is still possible for sailors to find love and companionship on board. Let's see where the thousands of crew members sleep to get an idea of what their romance will be like. The ship is equipped with everything the sailors need to survive for months at sea, from a mess hall to a gym, but the sleeping quarters are the most cramped. Sailors are assigned to small rooms with bunk beds stacked on top of each other with just enough room for a small locker and a desk. Privacy is practically non-existent, and sailors must get used to the constant hum of activity from the sailor in the next bunk. Despite the cramped conditions, the sailors make the best of it. They decorate their bunks with pictures of family and friends, and they form close bonds with the sailors. They share a room where they help each other make their beds, and they chat about their days. They get ready for bed. They may be cramped, but they're not alone. The cramped bedrooms also reflect the sacrifices that these sailors are willing to make for their country. They're away from their families and loved ones for months at a time, and they don't have the luxuries of a comfortable bed or a private room, but they do it because they believe in their mission and the importance of their service. They are the ones who protect our country and defend our freedom, and they're willing to make any sacrifice necessary to do their job. The cramped bedrooms also make the sailors appreciate the small things in life. They learn to be grateful for the moments of privacy they do get, like a quick shower or a quiet moment to read a book. They cherish the times they get to call home or receive a care package from family. They may not have much space, but they have each other, and the sense of camaraderie that comes from serving together. These sailors are truly some of the bravest and most selfless people you will ever meet. They lived in cramped bedroom DRS, but they do it so that we can sleep in our own comfortable beds at night. They're away from their families for months at a time, but they do it so that we can be with ours. They put their lives on the line every day, and they do it so that we can live in freedom. For some sailors, being deployed on an aircraft carrier is their first experience away from home. They may find themselves developing feelings for a shipmate who they spend all their time with. For others, they may be reunited with a loved one they haven't seen in months. Whatever the case may be, the relationships on an aircraft carrier are not without their challenges. The tight living quarters and lack of privacy make it difficult to maintain a relationship, and the constant stress and danger of deployment can put a strain on any relationship. But despite these challenges, many sailors are able to make it work. They find ways to make time for each other, whether it's a stolen moment on the flight deck or a quick chat in the mess hall. And when the ship finally returns home, the sailor are able to look back on their deployment with fond memories of the time they spent together. But why is it that U.S. Navy crew members can still remain strong and positive under such tough conditions? One of the reasons for sailor resilience is their sense of camaraderie and brotherhood. They live, work, and fight together, and they form close bonds with their shipmates. They help each other through the tough times and celebrate each other's successes. They know that they can rely on their shipmates, and that knowledge gives them the strength to push through the challenges they face. Another reason for the sailors' resilience is their sense of purpose and mission. They know that they're serving their country and protecting our freedom. They take pride in their service and are committed to completing their mission. This sense of purpose gives them the motivation to keep going even when things get tough. The Navy also provides its sailors with the necessary resources to help them cope with the challenges they face. Sailors have access to counseling and mental health services, as well as physical fitness Programs to help them maintain their health and well-being. The Navy also encourages sailors to maintain connections with family and friends back home, which can provide them with the emotional support they need to stay strong. The sailors on an aircraft carrier also receive rigorous training before they go on deployment. They are prepared mentally and physically to deal with the stress and danger that comes with being on a carrier. They're trained on how to react in emergency situations and have to go through simulations that test their readiness. This training helps them to be better equipped to handle the tough conditions they will face. In conclusion, the crew members of an aircraft carrier face tough conditions on a daily basis, but they're able to remain strong and positive. While it is against Navy regulations for sailors to engage in sexual activity on a deployed aircraft carrier, it is not uncommon for sailors to form romantic relationships while on deployment. The stress and isolation of being at sea for months at a time can bring people closer together, and it's not uncommon for sailors to develop strong bonds with their shipmates. Despite the challenges, many sailors are able to make relationships work on an aircraft carrier, and it's possible for them to find love and companionship on board. Have you had experiences of love while working at sea for months on end, or did you see other sailors in love? Let us know in the comments. Like this video to pay your respects to the strong crew members of the U.S. Navy. Don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss anything. I'll see you in the next video.